as a Reno enjoyer and a Reno YouTuber myself, I thought why not make the top Reno lists at the moment. I feel like I have considerable amount of experience and knowledge in this game that makes me qualified to make a list. So why not? So let's get started. And I feel like kind of awkward of making a list right now, even though there's an expansion releasing in 2 days. But maybe this will help people also figure out which Highlander deck to go for when the new expansion releases. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get started. The best Reno deck at the moment is Reno Shaman. Now, this deck actually did see I feel like in this month in particular, after the Wild Growth revert, Reno Druid have been seeing more Reno Druids than Reno Shaman. I don't know about you guys. However, I feel like if you play Reno Shaman and you get your Shadow Walk gets ratted, you still actually have a chance of winning the game. That's why this deck is good. You can play it without Renathal, but I'm a Renathal enjoyer. I'm still thinking of making a Reno Shaman video myself. I'm gonna play it with Renathal. The good thing about Reno Shaman is that you have Frame Mister. You don't even need to go and craft the darkness. You're an anti-aggro and a combo and ODK. Like, these are your strengths. You win against aggro. You counter Reno Decks unless you get ratted by Shadow Walk. But if you play good and sometimes I actually almost lost to our Reno Shaman after like burning Shadow Walk on turn 1. Can you believe that? I think you can run Hearthstone Brew in here just in case in ETC. I feel like Hearthstone Brew is gonna be like a staple in my ETC band Reno decks forever. Like, the guy just literally gives you a new win condition. That is just too good, you know? So, like I said, you could win with Shadow Walk or just win against the control decks by just controlling them. Like, this revert is so strong. This is just too good. And not to mention, the spell damage totem is back. So this spell sometimes guaranteed to deal 5 damage. It's actually funny, you know? Remember Lightning Storm used to do Overload 2. Now, this is the new Lightning Storm, except that it deals to all minions. However, it's a 3 mana and Overload 2, and, you know, it's more damage. So, Reno Shaman really excels, though the Flurgle nerf did hurt a lot, but it's still used. Now, how can I win if Shadow Walk gets ratted? Your win condition is Astalor. That's how I almost lost after literally in my Reno lock video. I don't know if you guys checked. I don't know if that matches in that video. However, that guy almost won by just Astaloring me, but I ended up winning anyway. So yeah, the best deck right now for Reno is Reno Shaman. And the second best list, I think you all saw this coming, and it's Reno Druid. Arguably, I feel like Reno Druid is the same level on Reno Shaman and could be better sometimes, but I feel like Shadow Walk sometimes, like your Ristraza gets Reno the Lone Ranger. Your minions get eaten by Shadow Walk and Mutanis and Radit. So it all depends, really. So Reno Shaman is better than Reno Druid, but Reno Druid is actually powerful. You can right now jam this deck and actually have fun and climb. Yes, I know that's actually you know confusing to you. How can I have fun and play a meta deck at the same time? It's not usual that you get these sort of decks, but this is really fun deck and it actually excels. By the way, do note, guys, all the lists that I'm showing you are in the description. So Reno Druid, really good deck. Do I really need to explain to you how Druid works? You literally search for ramp and search for Guff. You get Guff in the opening hand, most likely you will win. Guff is just too good, you know, and I thought of them reverting Guff recently, but I felt like, the card is already too powerful. You know, we don't care about gaining a mana instantly, but like I said, you have a lot of ramps. By the way, you got Malfurion's Gift. This is actually one of the few gifts that are really good and playable. Wild Growth is reverted, and the gift itself gives you Wild Growth. And we are actually running Wild Growth again. You have so much ramp. You have Wild Growth. You have the Whelp. You have Invigorate. Like this, we got this last year. We have Breath of Dreams. It feels like you're not running a Reno deck because you have all these ramp. You have Biology Project. You have Goff himself. You have Wild Bloom, Widow Bloom Seedsman, whatever. You could potentially even run Overgrowth, because why not? But then one thing this deck lacks is if you ramp so hard, you might not have enough draw. So this is where Juicy Psych Melon comes into play. You have Nourish to draw 3 cards. You have Guff. So if you have Guff into play, there's nothing to worry about. Just play good and, OTK and, like, make correct decisions based on the deck that you're facing. And that's how to play Reno Druid. Every Druid deck who runs Guff, you mulligan for Guff. And that's it. Don't think I need to talk more about this, but yeah, these are arguably the 2 best Reno decks at the moment. And I feel like both belongs to tier 1. However, Reno Druid is listed as tier 2, whereas Reno Shaman is listed at tier 1. But in my humble opinion, Reno Druid and Reno Shaman both are tier 1 decks, Reno decks at the moment. Now, moving to tier 2. Tier 2 decks, for me, don't necessarily mean they're not as good as tier 1. Like I said, you just saw Reno Druid is tier 2, but in my opinion, it's tier 1. These 2 decks that I'm about to name for tier 2 could potentially actually be just tier 1 decks. And those are Reno Lock and Reno Quest Mage. Now, I don't like Reno Quest Mage as much as I like Reno Control Mage, okay? So, Reno Quest Mage is good. However, people play that without Renathal. If I'm going to play Reno Quest Mage, any Reno deck, I'm going to play with Renathal, okay? That's just who I am. You don't like Renathal, you can keep your opinion to yourself, guys. But anyways, Reno Quest Mage is really good. This is not the list. I'm going to have a list in the description. Reno Quest Mage, the one without Renathal, is a good deck because you cycle through your deck so fast. This is the reason why you don't want Renathal in your Reno Quest Mage, is just makes your draw luck worse unless you're aiming for a Reno Control Quest Mage, which is a thing that I tend to build. But if you're gonna build Quest Mage, why go for the control side? You're already a control mage by controlling the board and waiting to play your quest. The problem with Reno Quest Mage is Romath is like easily ratted out. I don't find it hard to rat this guy out. Do keep in mind, guys, some Reno decks, some Reno Quest Mages are running the Antonidas combo, OG Antonidas Sorcerer Apprentice combo. I don't know why. That seems to be doing good, actually. I've been seeing that more than Romath for some reason. I'm gonna have to take a look into that. However, just keep in mind, Reno Quest Mage is a good tier 2 deck at the moment. It's a meta deck. Yes, you won't get dust baited if you play Reno Quest Mage. However, you shouldn't build any of these decks that I'm talking about unless... you shouldn't build any of these decks, wait for the new expansion, and check out the meta. Like, at least wait 10 days to see what happened in the meta. But yeah, at the moment, these are the good Reno decks. The 4th good Reno deck would be Reno Lock, like I said. You guys saw my recent Reno video. Reno Lock is doing really great. Almost potentially a tier 1 deck, in my opinion. If you play it as good as I do, I'm not saying I'm really the best, but so far, if you saw my video, I've won against Reno Quest Mage, I've won against Reno Druid, I've won against Reno Shamans, I've won against aggro Priest, aggro decks, combo decks. Like, this deck is so good and flexible because of Altar of Fire. Now I see why people run a second Altar of Fire in ETC. I'm just not gonna use my dust right now, though. I run Hearthstone Brew. I'm just in love with Hearthstone Brew, okay? But anyways, the main goal of the deck is to control your to control the board and survive and disrupt your opponent, and outvalue them by Sargeras and Symphony of Sins. And if that's not enough, discover Jaraxxus with Zephrys. That's how you play the deck. You win with aggro against, control spells. You have Defile, you have Dark Skies, you have Hellfire, you have Soul Rend, I believe. Yep, right here. You have Hysteria, you have Polgar the Portrait, like all sorts of things. The main disruption tool is Ren. Ren is just too good. And this is where Reverberations comes in handy. Reverberations comes in handy really good. And if you saw my video, someone stole my Sargeras. I don't know, Mind Control or something. And then I just Reverberations my Sargeras and still used it. Really good deck. Not as fun as OG Reno Lock, but it's still a good deck. Now, tier 2 deck is Reno. The fifth deck is Reno Warrior or even Reno Warrior. Why? Odin is just too good. I'm surprised this guy is not nerfed yet, but actually I don't think this guy needs a nerf. He's already too pricey, and he's a win condition. Like, maybe they'll increase his cost to 9 or 10, but I don't see a reason for this guy to be nerfed. You can easily rat him out and their whole deck dies. For me, I prefer Reno Odin Warrior. There's even Reno Warrior, and then there's Reno Warrior. I play Reno Warrior instead of even Reno Warrior, but I'm going to take a look at even Reno Warrior because I feel like that wins more. Because you don't run Renathal. For me, I run Renathal.
Please
why not?
rely on the Ember Court.
He's literally telling you to rely on them. I made a video on this list already, and it did really well. I'm not sure how the deck performs right now without the even version. But just keep in note, I'll have a list for this in the description, as well as the even version. I'm just gonna get get that from Neon Hearthstone. Now, we've named so far Reno Shaman, Reno Druid, Reno Mage, Reno Warlock, and Reno Warrior. The sixth and most good Reno deck at the moment, and that would be Reno Hunter. Reno Hunter is really good. Now, there are many ways to build Reno Hunter. But usually the huge big legendaries are stable. Like the stable one is obviously the Lone Ranger. I recently crafted Swamp King Dread. He's really fun. I've already made a video on Reno Hunter. You can check that out. It performs really well. Don't forget, Hope of Quell the Lost got reverted. I'm pretty sure it got reverted. Yep. So this list focuses on early secrets. I don't like secret package. I'll be honest with you. I really don't like secret package. However, I'm gonna try playing with this list and make a video. But the goal of the deck is to... It's like mid-range Reno Hunter. It's literally a mid-range Highlander deck where you aim to kill the opponent with early board minions and also control the board at the same time. But I still think Hearthstone Brew is stable in ETC. In all your ETCs, if you play control decks and you run ETC, the best value card you'll ever get is Hearthstone Brew. Ever. Let me know if you guys disagree with my opinion in the comments. So that is 6 Reno decks, I believe. I've just named 6 Reno decks. And based on my new discoveries and my new video, I believe Reno Paladin is a good deck. I'm not sure if it's tier 2 deck, but in my opinion, Hunter and Paladin could be a tier 2 deck, but the stable ones are Warrior, Mage, and Warlock. Those see more play than... Let me just do this. Sorry. So it's gonna be this. So far, yep, this is the ranking. These two are tier 1 in my opinion. Tier 2 belongs to these 3 classes. And tier 3, these are the 2 lists, but I still think they're just suited enough to be in tier 2. Reno Paladin, no introductions. You literally control the board and then play fun minions. Reno Paladin is one of my favorite Highlander decks because of Nosdormu, the Timeless, you know.
Seeing all of time is my
and also Cariel, which I'm really surprised has yet to be reverted. We were expecting it to be reverted last year when it rotated out, but it didn't get reverted. I don't know why. Maybe just to save aggro players, but still really good. This Reno Paladin list is the best. If you saw my recent video, you will know why. Timeout is just too good. Especially against all these OTK decks like Reno Quest Mage or whatever deck you're facing against, like Mine Rogue potentially, but I think Mine Rogue has died. I have yet to see a Mine Rogue. I think they died. They're no longer existent. If you play Mine Rogue, you'll most likely lose more than you win because of Viper and Objection and Okani and like Ice Blocks, like and Rats. I feel like Mine Rogue has died and I'm happy it did. I'm sorry, Mine Rogue players. Sorry, not sorry actually. It's a really bad deck. It's a really toxic deck. It shouldn't even have existed in the first place. But anyways, Reno Paladin really fun, guys, and you have like all the Reno decks are gonna see play in the next expansion, in my opinion, because of Reno the Lone Ranger. Because of this guy's existence, Reno decks are gonna become stable, and I'm happy. As a Reno enjoyer myself, I'm really happy. And like Reno Lone Ranger is the reason I didn't quit Hearthstone last year. I was really bent on quitting the game. But then I saw Titan's expansion, I saw Reno himself, saw some love for Highlander, so I didn't quit. I'm having fun, so I'm not gonna quit. But that's about it for tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 2 are like these 5 classes, and tier 1 are these 2 classes. Now let's talk about tier 3. Tier 3, Reno Priest has actually went downhill. Reno Shadow Priest in particular is not good. However, I've been facing on the ladder Reno non-Shadow Priest. That actually seems more fun, and I really like the non-Shadow Reno Priest. You know what's funny? Both times I faced a Reno non-Shadow Priest, I tried adding the players and my game just disconnects. It's like not making me want to discover this gem. But there's a lot of Reno Priest lists out there running Elise and Death Rattle minions, basically. Death Rattle and Quest itself. The Quest itself, where is it? I can't wait for the day where Quest Priest becomes a thing, a really good thing. But right now, as of me speaking, Reno Priest doesn't really do well against anything except aggro, maybe. Yeah, aggro. Actually, maybe I'm wrong. I am seeing lists on Neon Hearthstones, but that's maybe just me. I haven't yet to play. It did get this card. This card is really good. Okay. However, let's not forget, in the next expansion, we're getting a new Raza. So Reno Priest could get reinvented altogether. With the new Raza, maybe you won't even need Shadow Reaper Anduin, but I still think the card is really good. Like, you're killing minions, but with the existence of Reno, what's his name? Reno the Lone Ranger, you might not need, and the new Raza, you might not need Anduin, but what if you lose Anduin to Theatar? What if you lose Reno the Lone Ranger to Theatar? You still have a backup plan. I feel like Quest Priest is gonna become finally a thing. Speaking of which, with the new Raza, a lot of people are speculating maybe, what's her name? Zyrella, with her deal 5 damage, is gonna become really strong. We still have yet to see that. We're gonna see that. I had her on Golden and I disenchanted her because I didn't find a suitable deck. We're gonna see that in the new expansion. But as of me speaking, Reno Priest is not as prevalent or good as the decks I've mentioned before. Like, all these decks do everything Reno Priest does, but better. They actually win against other decks. So there's Reno Priest. And then, let's see, what lists are we? I think the remaining classes, like Rogue, Demon Hunter, and Death Knight, those classes just don't see play in Reno, in terms of Reno. Even though it makes me sad, I really like Reno Blood DK, Triple Blood DK, but we haven't seen Triple Blood support, Blizzard. Where are the Triple Blood rune cards, right? I think that's it for the video, guys. Like, Reno Demon Hunter, Reno Death Knight, and Reno Rogue, you wouldn't want to play those unless you want to lose and, like, have fun only. If you're just gonna want to have fun, go ahead and play Reno Rogue or Reno Demon Hunter. I'm still trying to experiment with Reno Demon Hunter, but it really sucks. I remember seeing 2 years ago Reno Demon Hunter with double N'Zoth, and that's the thing that got me to craft Reno Demon Hunter. But I've never made a single video or played with it. It's literally just sitting in my deck. But hey, maybe it's gonna become a thing in next expansion. As you probably have saw, with the new cards, there has been support for Highlander Demon Hunter, in my opinion. And then there's also this card, last expansion. So I really hope Demon Hunter finally becomes a control deck for once, and not just OTK, combo, and aggro. I really want to see Highlander Demon Hunter. I've been waiting for this deck to shine for ages. And it's time for it to shine. And last things, I've already said it, I really hope Blizzard adds more Triple Blood cards this year. We haven't seen that happen last year, and I'm really sad. But anyways, that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you disagree with my comments and opinion. Remember, we all have different opinions and different moods, but as a Reno enjoyer myself, I told you, I deserve to have a say in this, and these are the good Reno decks in my opinion, ranked from best to worst. However, keep in mind, just because Reno Priest is not tier 1 or tier 2, it still can win games, and my opinion should not discourage you from experimenting with Reno decks. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.